enterprise. Already, Mwate Dr. James Kwabnabonfe Enka, or a managing editor at the National Forum newspaper. And for more, he's also the executive director at the Center for Citizenship, Constitutional and Electoral Systems. You can a kind of census. Wabekansa waha. Sounds so ena Kofi Tonto. A member of the NPP's National Communications team. Eric Ejay, a Deputy Bono Regional Communications Officer, Edema NDC. In the Impenyufuini anyone EBD and Como. For more muti show no at the start of the show. Medi to just say ye can waha many of my hene kwabena santetna ha kan said this year. Immediately after the parliamentary primary of the NPP, in constituency with certain MPs, there would be a reshuffle. That reshuffle then conquer ministers and deputies and it would affect MMDCAs. That has happened. And yes, I can say ministers would follow. We can confidently say that would be happening. Of course, plus or minus by Nyame Adomoa or China. I've told you, sir, the current Sanitation and Water Resources Minister, sir, Ufrimua, and as a free ministry, where a man in you be our. The current Health Minister, Ekofia, man in you be our. The current Finance Minister, Ekofia, man in you be our. The current Roads and Highways Minister, Ekofia, man in you. And the current Interior Minister, Ensukofia, man in you. Meanwhile, tie names we names are maybe boy tie. Ekosiisen Asifua a MP for Old Tafo. Lydia Seyram Al Hassan a MP Ayawaso West Wogon. Sylvester Tete a MP Botiano English ya man from. Chum Asaman Kese MP ni your friend is saying. Is there an MP for Asaman Kese? What's his name?
Lower West Achim.
That should be Lower West Achim, right? A Lower West Achim. Check MP ni di mami. Charles Echampong. Good. And the moon notice ID so Charles Echampong. Member of Parliament for Kaikwe South. Dakwa Newman. Oko Menchia North MP. Mention of MP ni kra ni din ye den Kwesi Kunedu ono be two Collins osu amankwa no Kwesi Kunedu montro no nso din ye nto ho Dr. Ayu Efriye Honorable Ophelia Mensah, right? Infanteman Ophelia Mensah, good. Ono nso montro ni din no ento ho Martin Ejay Mensah Kosa. Martin Ejay Mensah Kosa. Dr. Bernard Okoboy. And ministers ni bin so oppositions are CCA, but they would be moved to other ministries. And also noted names way. Member of Parliament for Bantima constituency. Honorable Francis Asenso Boache. Member of Parliament for Okaikwe Ayawaso Central and Greater Accra Regional Minister Honorable Henry Korte Mumfani Dinto. Member of Parliament for Fuasia Yerebi, Minister of Information Kojo Opon Kroma. Medical Kaza we ministers are or more ministerial portfolios but they would be changed to other ministries. My boss Francis Asenso Boache, Minister Works and House, and Henry Korte, Minister Greater Accra, Kojo Opon Kroma, Minister Information. Muhammad Amin Anta, a Minister of State Finance Ministry. May the best of hope for now. Now for you trust. Dr. James Kwabnabonfe. Akwa baby.
Yeah, Obi.
Dr. Bernard Okoboy, good evening to you. Me just say bibi ekoi. Anyways, James, my name say and then some the opposite offer edi ho nkomo yentio.
Well, Obi, mebo on sama me family no na maboni tew asema yesi mampani dada mahama akoka se no to easy no na am say me share story bi a yesi okoka wo ba bi obi ya amanyosem na ye ma no kredi anim kan a ebebo yi nyina no kre wom ni say electoral commission proposal award by say elections all session than the free December at the abandonim no and shall see and nya de foforo 2011 President Mills commissioner set up a emeritus professor Fiajo and Dano omuna edis hadi edi kan kruchegu krata so before that 2009 the course political parties had been discussing say adena yenye hu bibi so I say 96 una BSc pen and requests had been made me won krata ni bi o ha the 2015 electoral commission a memo a reform committee reform committee no ano the same Dr. Frejan GB to move crimes and awko na humije mu Mama Charlotte say ba ye omo ye memo e ko ma President Mahama attorney general mo the proposal called parliament parliament at the assembly read first reading after I had been gazetted for 3 months at the council of state every council of state signed by parliament in July 21st July 2016 and I call second reading anti-mianya to test a majority ninti a failure ya ka sema eno January and a commission no started din enkomo or your party had boycotted IPAC for nearly 2 years and you need both sides of the house to build consensus around it then na oka se neno a friend say commission no na obi esro abato nti na oye meanwhile you know your party leadership knows say as the institution of this matter was a Seventh-day Adventist church or the re-institution of this matter SDA4 and a started say and now say that only one musum the be or started di hunkomo and a commission no de proposal no ba no on one you see religious argument no cry and to work against it after you have been met and you build consensus around it now the way ko kase obi ne so about to danunti na oya are you being fair and to what time na wo yes had way no now election na usro I mean anyway you know Obi it doesn't really matter when elections are held
okay
say to 2024 ya to abano memenda me I may not vote some Adventists may not vote and possible so say e bet me secret say 7th December and I'm chinchina e beto sabana ye nto sabana da no it can happen if there's an act of God force majeure you can force to vote
no
enti ye kasa ya ye nsusu say ye tumfo ama na nyame tumfo bi eso chen I only encourage the Seventh-day Adventist Church for now omo committee omo to praying to God to seek his favor no say omo nkoso mompae if it is the will of God that the elections date will change if human beings will not let it change God can change it his way and let his will be done. My second issue I'm fire a vice president
the speech
no Obi for starters no that day my ntumi anko my invitation but my ntumi anko na me tie news feed no me gidi e pasam papa John Ajikunku for that no said dancini okokasa said dancini it was top o dia dance here man yefe
the endorsement no
it was an endorsement too. He was witnessing it was not an endorsement okasa endorsement that means it loses its value now o dia dance here or dancini na said o see ekuche ni nsem no enyu no ye de kafa ye no me fi say na emu edu pa na de okan ba ko eto masumu pa am fi say vice president otia ebeboa no pa ne say you can't build the Ghana that you want or we all want to know from within one party. Because it won't take just the MPP to do that. Now, if you say nay asem da, papa kan ya na efe pa. Mate say binum enya kwan anase womo discuss vice president kasa no. Matie bi, but obi, there are three classes of people who will always critique a document. One more criticize it. One more better say tia. And one more be as one in sem no so. Actually, one more adwene. Any one no so a sabi asem no one more better say the tibia no eyenko. I want to belong to those who will dissect the issue and weigh it. Now, me sonny asem no so no. 174 paragraphs, 73-page document, well researched. We edit gun krata aswa. Okay, we are Obi. You can respect the academic that the vice president is and his research team. You can respect them. Indeed, a bold, all-encompassing, and forward-looking document. Bold, all-encompassing, and forward-looking. The vision statement, paragraph 110.
Okay.
On my background, I will be surprised he was distancing himself from this regime. Then you didn't read it or you didn't hear him. Because Kaya connection is very clear. Me nyaya nkobeye obeye concessions binum, and I will point out those areas because oka about external factors are a man nema bianko yi o fairly so be pointed what internally as a government na almost part in but of course you should expect say enya wontuma gufinya na obabede ahoro no abote but utumi kano kwan bi so. But the vision statement, no, Obi, 80 words. 80 words.
80 words.
Yes.
How he captured the vision statement.
The vision statement
in 80 words.
Yes, the vision statement in paragraph 110.
Yeah.
80 words.
And they're in italics and all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My vision is to create a tent big enough to accommodate all our people, to tap into the resourcefulness and talents of our people, irrespective of our different ethnic, political, and religious backgrounds, to channel our energies into building the kind of country that assures a food, self-sufficient, safe, prosperous, and dignified future for all Ghanaians, to create sustainable jobs with meaningful pay for all, and for Ghana to participate fully in the fourth industrial revolution using systems and data. Wow. I applaud him. It's a powerful vision statement. In fact, Professor Jampuna or Mayor Political Science will be going or strategy planning.
Yeah.
Your vision must be utopia. Okay. As I said, a muye true. Obi who say akwai odwini kwa chiripa. Na nyama bia me twi mu a center on humanity nipaye. Environment. I train when she body mu nyansape ne ne keka ho. Ethos, values, technology. Now come for unity in diversity. Employing native wisdom, present intellect, and human aspirations as a global village. That's what he was seeking to do, or that's what he did here. Now, dear auditions here, Obi are very critical. Again, the
mindset.
The mindset. Obi, it is what makes us. Obi for be a friend already discuss and say cogito ego sum.
Ego sum.
Dobito cogito ego. Dobito ego sum. I think.
Therefore,
I doubt. I doubt. Therefore, I think. I think. Therefore, I am. that is what makes you okay ayi mebusem eti aduonu miensa chichemu so no so a wase wo ye de wo dwene fa you are what you think enti satimu pono eye de hu hia pa na wo dwene hu kwa animu a obi o kasafa a value system ho se edian na edi ntini ye no kredie tu hu ache pere yo na vice president one cannot direct but me pese or they can say the time element time factor bre ayedi ye adwuma say na edi buoma bre me ne Eric aye say ye beba nhyiamu wo han mo nonan abo Eric medru ha on frame say obra me late kakra oni buoma bre but wo buoma bre a obehu say mere ye ni nka so anya onya adaje so a adaje ebebu so na nipa bebre ya ye nwene saa enti ya my position bi a ya dwene say ebeka hoda me ye no say na minim say bra o de ma mi swanti me boni tewtew ana de otoso bio a obi me we de me bobo no na poso ade ba ko a okan ya eto masumpa and as a disability researcher ewo ne paragraph number 165 care for the vulnerable and special needs obifu bi ne friend emeritus professor John Henry Clark wo o kan sembi o say you can measure the civility of the people by how well they take care of their poor
and vulnerable,
the vulnerable, the aged and the disabled. Omanya yetimu a ye wo persons with disability law I trust say you district assessment centers oko omo national assessment center. I have a son with a friend say difficulty in speech and I've followed these things obi oko achimota but a national assessment center no they have a lot of problems me what the first disability report Ghana is mentioned in it now obi a recent comprehensive survey of rehabilitation in Ghana identified no rehabilitation doctor or occupational therapist in the country, and only a few prothetists or orthotists and physical therapists, resulting in very limited access to therapy and assistive technologies. This was in 2011 in that first disability report. I know, sir, you're training crophobinum, speech therapists binum in some of the institutions, any other. But yeah, the number is not even anything to go by. So for somebody who is thinking into the future, say, we will recruit 1,000 special education teachers and retrain teachers on how to work with special needs. We will also train more speech and language therapists and occupational and behavioral therapists. This is, it tells me that they've researched. We need this. Now we are not, Obi, you come to what he spoke about in terms of his, your friend say, concluding part
of the statement.
My vision is all about fulfilling our mission. It's not about him. This is how someone identifies with the people. How else? I believe in the ingenuity of the Ghanaian. I believe in Ghana. Together, we can succeed in building a progressive society of possibilities, enterprise, compassion, open opportunities, and shared prosperity for every Ghanaian, born rich or poor, born in the north or south, born Christian or Muslim, born girl or boy. With your support, prayers, God's guidance, we can win together. It is possible. Obi, I'm sure, sir, there are downsides of it, and I'm not come here. They kind or care about building core values for the country and or linking to faith-based organizations. Say only faith-based organizations they be collaborating. Paragraph 160. He missed out the cultural society. Yen traditional authorities, no, and they are the custodians of yen values. Enti uyo mufrimwa enye. So it is an area that he must pay attention to. FM. Now, and now say me disability research inti. it's interesting the views of our traditions, especially Asante and Gonja Misuya on disability. You need to know about it. Integrative than exclusion. Can't nipa no bon. Enti min kan fu ano. Ade ba ko so kan mienu bi so kan ya no de mu bontoto constitutional review. Any national development plan. The meka atwa to ne say de waka no o de bre nyamesuro ene nkabomu ya ebeboa. Oman chichire ete say ye chire damfo. Ba ko ya enye yi. Yensom ene nipa. Me bona baso me manitrin kwa na meto nsa so afre se obi a opre oman yin kan kono. I think this is the first time in the history of our country obi a ombeye presidential candidate to kra no wode na no de samu tu ansa na ni party di manifesto beba minim ebia machemu kakra ba
ombeye candidate because party nim find the dean call electoral commission.
That's what I mean. Legally you understand that onyanya candidate na so obi anya candidate to Ghana sise o anti yensusu ntuma pa America but the American say odi na niso adi hunu, and this is an elaborate program. It is not just his vision statement. More than a vision statement. Elaborate program me feel say ye be born abaso so ye na adwenkyerɛ nkitinkiti a de bayi so no omo suso mu a me feel say be boa yensom eni nipa medase o
me nso medase nti Dr. James Kwabena Bonfe ena yeten nkanama memra Kofi Boss na ekasa yese mu nyina munim nti and since last week Wednesday Kofi Ma studio right nti ende no owa ha ide wo se ye man mre na at least nsema ne boss editu dwa no otimi ebiebie mu ema Ghana fo nyina ihu said enioma esi but I also took you through the list of ministers and deputy ministers which I expect to say beba in the reshuffle names be me free mo. I'm still getting some of the names, and this name someone sign trend on to Honorable Andrew Ejapa Mesa MP for second currently or a deputy energy minister but I'm funny day and to he
me brother
okay Fatimatu Abubakar currently Deputy Information Minister. Onon so mumfa ne din ento mediki abo Sylvester Tete. Mabo Martina James Sakosa. Mabo Kwesi Kunedu. Mabo Dakoa Newman. Into all of these names no mumfa ento. Kofi Tonto.
Medasi.
Yes.
Di kan ma memfa nchia sronko ema na memfa nchia sronko nso ma MPP USA mpanyufo a omoti titiri ye chairperson Obaya Frimpong Michigan for chairman so abedru Ghana then chiasronko bema no MPP Massachusetts chairman Louis Amwakon menua kwa mekese and so Canada chairwoman
Asempa FM
Madam Vicky ono so se otio enumre Samrin Podi abo no nsia wa he na sa abodonko.
That's 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
Okay.
I think sisi na 5 hours difference. So yes. Eastern time no.
Sure.
Yeah, it me call 4 now about 5. I mean for all the zones no.
Okay.
Depending on the quarter you woman no and season a woman no. Ko na nimba ko na ko na chi ba ko. I believe sisi na 5 hour difference. Obi medasi bebre nano ukuada no na omampanyi abedi ekira nei obeye franka tuni ede ama MPP ede nsem tudwa na nsem na odi tudwa no otase no be se so utie nsem no a okan na ochemu be se miensa betimi aka ne sa edikan one Ghana for din komo fa tumi a ye de hye yensa 2017 omampanyin Akufo-Addo be omampanyin adwuma ya ye modern ba ya bo ene o hawa e baaye ogini nyina atumu ba bia ye boy ho modern wagi tumu ba bia o hawo so baaye na wagi tumu e kan ho asem ewie ye no na one Ghana for nso din komo fa si ekasa obi omampanyin abedi ekira eno kra no na sekire ne sen ɔto ne bo kyerɛ mu ɛna ɔka bɛsi sɛ ɔno nso n'adwuma a ɔyɛ boa nti ɔto ne bo ɛka nneɛma a sɛ betumi a ɔmanpanyin wɔ kakra no ɔpɔ ne maa no ɔno nso yɛ de boaeɛ ka nneɛma bebree bobɔ nsɛm bebree so drones ka other initiatives a wayɛ to support the governance. Owie no ɛna ɔde ɔno nso n'ani suade ho no ɛto dwa. Na Ghana for dodoɔ na nsɛm no bi wɔ ha na ɔmate dada. Deɛ na nipa dodoɔ na ɛhwɛ animu ne yɛ n'ani suade ho. Sɛ nyame yɛ adom ne de abɛnwa ne ma no a ɛdeɛ no ɔbɛyɛ ɛde aboa Ghana nkanko ne yɛ mpuntu. Enti ɛhɔ no ɔtoo ne bo ɛkyerɛkyerɛ nsɛm bebree mu. Minia Kabila nsɛm a na mebɛka na nka kwan a mepɛ sɛ mefa so ka no wadi kan aboroboro bi so nti mensɛn mmere bebree. Ɔde the overall vision no ɛto dwa. Basa overall vision no ne gyina kwa mmienu bi so. Basa wokenkan nkrataa ne nsɛm no a wɔkaeɛ no a wanhwe a wadwen ma so sɛ wanya mmara you cannot piece it together. Ɔkan bibi fa ya mamra constitution ho ɛna ɔkan bibi fa the NDPC a yenyina yenim sɛ ɛyɛ adwumaku a the National Development Planning Commission,
yes.
Ɔmo adwuma ne sɛ ɔmo bɛboa na nka ɔman no yɛni suade hunu bɛsɛ mfie aduanan ɛne n'akyi no kɔ mo bɛhwehwɛ ne nyinaa kama. Ɔka saa nneɛma mmienu ho asɛm. Mmra kyikyere saa nneɛma mmienu ɔde ka ho asɛm. Edi kan. Ɔsi Ghana yɛama mmra constitution no mmra yɛ kyikyere no. Yɛ kyikyere sɛ yɛbɛnya biribi a yɛfrɛ no political stability. Because amre no nyinaa yɛ nim nsɛm a na si coup d'etat ɛne ade. Enti na yɛ pɛse yɛ kyikyere yɛama mmra no sɛ ne yɛbɛyɛ a politics no ebenya mu ntintimman na ɛnɛ we abetu we abeyese no efiri hɔ. Nti wohwɛ a yɛde tumi dodoɔ na ma ɔmanpanyin no yɛde hyehyɛ bi gu akwan mu sɛ ne ɛbɛyɛ a ɔmo bɛyɛ aban mu adwuma no ɔmo kɔ a yɛbɛhyɛ ɔmo afunu mu na ɔmo adwene anyɛ ɔmo sɛ ɔmo saa bɛgye tumi bio ɛne nneɛma bebree. Ɛna ɔka si sɛ samre nyame adom baabi a yɛabɛduri yɛbɛtumi aka sɛ saa political stability no yɛnsa yɛ den aka. Enti ɛyɛsi yɛ kyikyere yɛn constitution ni bio na mmom ne kyikyere a yɛbɛkyikyere no yɛde anisuade hunu foforo a yɛfrɛ no den national development. So we ought to change our constitution because it has achieved its purpose of political stability and change it to achieve national development. Nsɛm na no kan fapem ba ko pa no sɛ kwan bɛn ne yɛbɛfa so a ɛnyɛ me Mahmoud Bawumia emfie nwɔtwe a bi a mɛba bɛdi sɛ ɔmanpanyin deɛ mede bɛba bɛboa ɔman ne nkanko na mmom sɛ mebɛyɛ me die mpo na mefiri hɔ a wɔno mu a wɔaka a mo ba bɛtoa so no ɔmo bɛhu sɛ ɔman na nkasa wɔ anisuade hunu bi a ɛsi eduru ho. Kabila sa kan bibi kyerɛ sɛ my vision is to achieve what the mission of the nation of the people. Enti nya deɛ ɔno nko ahwehwɛ na mmom deɛ ɔhwehwɛ ne deɛ ɔbɛyɛ de aboa ma ɔman na nkasa yɛnsisi dua ne deɛ ɛda yɛni so ne deɛ pɛsi ehunu no abam. Ɔsi si yɛbɛnya saa national development ne deɛ a ɛneɛ saa NDPC mmra no yɛnkɔ pɔne ho kakra. Ɛnɛ sɛ wofa MPP a ɔmanpanyin ɛde n'ani so ade hunu ɛbɛba party ne de ɔmo manifesto bɛba NDC de ɔmo manifesto bɛba we de nam ha wɔsi daabi ɔman na duru baabi a ɛyɛ sɛ nhyehyɛeɛ a yɛde ba no sɛ wowɔ adwene foforo bi mpo a ɛyɛ sɛ adwene no kɔ achieve that national purpose. Enti NDC for betumi aka sɛ yɛn yɛbɛfa abri ne de aduru Kumase because betumi afa abri aduru Kumase. MPP betumi aka sɛ yɛbɛfa nsamwom ne de aduru Kumase. The bottom line is yɛyɛ den yɛkɔ Kumase. Na Ghana for decide sɛ Kumase no we die na yɛ ana sɛ onye we die na yɛ. So ɔka brofu kasa bi ɔse we must build our manifestos around the broader contours of the National Development Plan. Obi, I can tell you, say, Baumian Semwa Wakanye February 7th, will perhaps be the most powerful political speech in our republic. In terms of, say, Obi Kasa about the forward thinking of a nation. Niama esi edigu akwem. Okan ho asem. Owie ye no. Ena wo to ne bo ekeka niama bi ene nhyehyeye bi a opese wo ye. Na okan bibi fa the vulnerable ho. Okan bibi fa values ho. Se wa ante ho na so a wo be fa ne se tra keke. Ba untimi nchichire oman abra onni biefo wonwene wo mo ho. Untimi nchichire oman abra wono mo a sabe yare ne okaw binti omuntimi nko omanim no umma wo mo ho ban. Se wo be chichire oman a yesi cradle to the grave. Ese de ya wo no foforo ne sabe de wafiri mu mpo no wo de ani de ye den ema no. Nti wo se Ghana ni bia se wo ye able body and now we are disabled. Ye di animonyama ese fata, any bu ese fata, ye di bema. I didn't ne here because you cannot achieve national development. So one fa o mine timamufo nyina anka momua. You can't achieve it. You must respect the child, the man, the woman, the vulnerable, the disabled. And believe said they all have capabilities. Ye kambo mwa ye betimi achieve the mission of the nation. To akan ho asem. Owie no kan ye value system ho asem. Ni nyina ye niema na all kan befua say dachi baby a pesi edru. No wie ye no or the policies be to dwa. Unfortunately, ye nuanom NDC for atake a strategy. For politics they will do that. The strategy is simple. Make sure you don't discuss the content of the policy. That's the strategy. Run away from the content of the policies and discuss him. And find everything you can find under the sun to tag him. Say on your credible. To tag him. So you're corrupt. All of a sudden, MPP, NDC for Akofa, BB the PDS, so can BB for PDS. They are now struggling to find corrupt things to attach him with. Meaning, when we say the last few days they've started trying to find a near man because they have noticed say and some na a free papa no mubaya no say wo one share Ghana for any CD besia bede wo so no ohun papa to make it about him. Find debt and throw the debt at him. Destroy him. Make the conversation about him. But I am here to tell the NDC say Ghanaians are not interested in Mahama or Baumia's personality because Ghana phone him say politician be any who are better now man so dear sabe or can't so obey nyina wotimi ye nyina. And I will be meboa. There is not a single politician Obia when it's odi hunu but unya tumi na ade ba ko mienu bi nti obon ho modin ye de obetimi aye nti ufa yura mahama ye wonsem bebre a wokan ya mi wa yi mi fun mi wo bebre wo so a metimi aka sanso na ufa yura na na do obetimi aka bibi afa no ho ufa yura kofo yura mills. What Ghanaians are interested in ne say ye ko ye nimu yi anu disem dia na woka ama ye hu se wo nis that so bia na wo bibia wo be ya e den sisaye kese be ba ya brabom ene dache edikan ye mfa no e krokro o kan bibi fa taxation o man mu se wo ko ye nnwuma ne ade e wa ha ya o ha mu abupen aduokono ne achiripon wo 98% and form the small businesses they are kanu just about 2-3% and the large scale businesses. But bodwa ne ankra adwuma ne medium sized businesses eno ne doso. Adia e how mu ba ko pa ye taxation, the tax system in this country. And now okomo accounting officer They will tell you the struggles they are going through. But for a business to thrive, no, creativity, no, spend it on building your company, not fighting the IRS. I know I say American IRS, fighting the GRA. But so many businesses are fighting GRA. Because GRA say, so 20 CDs, or no say, me 10 CDs. They say, and attack, you calculate here, for percentage, we bring first, we are now the percentage, we have a fire vata, you bet charge you 15% on the first value, COVID on the second value, NHI on the third value. Just say, or say, pano, chano.
Or simplifying.
Simplifying. There's going to be a flat rate. Enti sabio minia o ton bibi wo shop kakra bi unim se wadwuma na wo ye no hamu abupan du na ese wo de man aban a wa wo tena wo na fa pen a wo timi calculate wade. He's bringing a flat tax system to make sure say adwuma ko a omo na ye the fulcrum adia o man ni siso no obe stabilize wo. Etosubio enei obi wo ho a wabi adwuma na adwuma a wabi no woni IRS IGR GR se wo de ekase minim company bia GR se wo de omoka $8 million me boni din a obi hu ba for $8 million. Now the company baby omadru no the only option is say umbe shate adwuma ne down. Because they can't find the $8 million. Only the entire GRA acco all the way to 2014. Aqua or the Tiomo. Say 2014 SO 15 went 16 all the way to 2023. It's for $8 million a brain. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia say, Sadiano, ye be ma tax amnesty to all businesses because side Jumano. Good dada. Ontimi ntua ne to dada. Enti mano ho hin no. Now fail on starting on a clean slate with GRA. Na enam so was simplify tax ninti no. Watimi ayeden atua ne to. In
before the implementation of the flat rate now oka ho asem no.
First
obe clear table ne so.
Clean
with the amnesty no.
Amnesty.
Na mo start Ghana start afresh.
First day in office. Making sure Ghanaian businesses. You are not losing money, mami chiro, because nipa no ntimi ntua dada. You are rather going to gain. Me na maybe medjuma won me twe no. Me shati medjuma ne down because you can me nyama. And also nyama me nso de ene o ma me nya adwuma. Ti me shati adwuma ne down. Ba o miase ye ne clean slate asa adwuma no now. Meba ho ne ahyehyɛ ye nhyehyɛ. Bosome ne so a meba betwa bibia ma first na nka wonya sa bibi no. Afe na nsa madwuma ne ye adwuma ntino metimi afa Ghana ni babunu baako me wia me nso menya bibia ye den na medi nti sika na nka akoka mu no anu ntimi mmia adwuma no se sa ohaw ni niwa mebia madwuma. Etosu bi audit. You can only do audit once every 5 years.
Audit of companies.
Audit of companies
for tax purposes.
For tax purposes.
Okay.
Unless you have evidence. Strong evidence that say nipa no engage in some kind of fraudulent activity. And some near the institutions are who rob a bar. Say no pono beya, you must go through that arbitration process to make sure say harassment. It also be GR ntimi kwatena obi business. Onum say na GR kwatena ko for business. Kwatena office. Usika ba o hwe wase no yetwam. GR ntimi metena obi office. E meka nkyere ne say Mitiha Debi Emaso. GRA must audit from their office using technology. Now I audit it. And to the ababane say me within 5 minutes because I have simple tax no. Me call me up so na ma fail me tax. Na ma submit it. GRA what questions are they can sit in their office, audit my taxes, and send me whatever notification or letter they have to send me. And then, if I have to go through arbitration, I'll go through. Adia ba kwa ba ebe boa adwumafo te say spare pass. And they say, and then you can first spare pass at the bar. 20-footer container. Ubedura ye bieso enra so the bar ye 200,000, china de bebe say 300,000. Adia be chance for 120. Just say who businessman, you can't even plan. But umia say yetwam. Flat tax into 20-footer container na ode ba. Na say ye spare parts in kwa na gumu a say na wonim say obey den obetua say na obetua. 40-footer container say na obetua say na obetua. Eno ne enisuade hunu ba ko a ebe boa peja Ghana enuma nketinketi any bodwa enuma any medium sized businesses to give jobs to people. Atosubiu ministers in the aka ho asem
Asempa FM
say obekate to 50 ministers. You be 16 regional ministers no. Now for 34 substantive ministers. Ade bi wa toso a
34 substantive ministers and their deputies.
Yes. Owie ye no say enai ade ha Ghana for pa ne say yentimi nya yakwan nyina anwie. Yentimi si ye hospitals nyina anwie. Yentimi si ye schools nyina anwie ade ntira. Efi se sa ohaw ni nyina sensen aban kon mu. Enti maboa ma adwumafo eho ahenhan omo on the tax section no. Sa ankrankra nwumakuo no. Enei me de Ghana akwan nyina be ma mo se monye. Enti aban will no longer have to foot that burden. Private companies will build the hospitals, will build the schools, will build the facilities. Na abaya lease and na abaya rent. They will maintain it as well. It is about hospital and about school. Abaya betimi aka say munsi school we mame requirements. The amount of private we see abaya rent, and then rent later to own. What does that do? Sa 3% of our GDP now. AFBS ye kohwehwe de be capital expenditure no. Capital expenditure ne de ba twika semu ade kire ne say impuntu nyuma yesa aban ne ye no o sika futuo bi a okofa wo de fa yen sika nyina mu a ohamu abupen miensa 3%. Sa sika no edoso aban entimi nya ne nyina nti wo se ankrankra adwumako emmefa sa aka ne mame na kakra menya no memfa nya bibi foforo enti se ye Kumasi Accra Road ana temane hwanhwan a the private company will do it and toll it. In fact, I say cars in power
and government will regulate and set
of
prices
course,
for tolls.
It's a PPP arrangement. Aban will make sure say the omo it is in the better interest of Ghanaians. No two ways about it. But the primary purpose ne say sa ade na say aban kom no ye be yeden ye be ye free na aban ho ahenhan no. Cars aban ento cars biu aban be lease from private companies. Emrenti me bosso they to be national service. Wasi ye nuanu mo wie school a emra hye mo kitin say so mo ye national service no ontwam na emum onye ne mandatory
enye by force obi me
wo University of Massachusetts me third year ena in fact me second year na me start year some outreach programs with agencies like Inroads, Obeko companies, no acquire observation, so that as a young person you have an idea. Baby, I person yeah, Juma near the day. Me third year, and na companies no, a bar, school mo, your friend a career fair. It is everyone say MTN, Vodafone, Nestle. They all go to the various universities to go and look for talent on the universities. University campuses. And nay sanya no ensi efi say adwumafo ni nim say akra ni wie school a chiso okoye national service. Enti se say de ebesi wo Ghana ne say nyame ya adom no obeyo mampanyi na ye de samra we ba. School for ni be wi a from third year to fourth year no be hu say universities ni be ye de friend career fair. Ama the best and the brightest students are mo be bo mo homodin. Unwie school kra no wanya wadwuma dada a wo koye. This is the standard all over the world. I know so odeba.
Now, omo anya adwuma ne.
Oh sir,
now one wakoye service.
You can still do the service. You can do your private work. You can do whatever. But enye mandatory. Pacho what I say, ebe yi anonsu be yi o how free aban ko mu ene ade. But more importantly, no, ebe ma that career fair approach where companies will go to various campuses to hire and recruit directly from campus. Universities now will begin to tailor their courses to make sure
industry
needs, which is the connection I am mixing. Now you remember Bawumia Samo about national development. Now universities will be forced, because you now have to define how quality you are by the number of recruits on your campus. This is University of Ghana. Adia me de beto ma no be kan say mimi school ho de oba big companies wo Ghana ne be fa ye mofra ne den echo. So you'll be forced to improve the quality, make sure say your curriculum matches industry standard. It's an incentive to force that linkage.
Okay. You wrap up in 1 minute now.
The other one here. Me wrap up now. The other one here, or say Ghana card, any passport. Say no who here say obesa call passport office acquire your passport bill. Ofa Ghana card information na passport forge no. Emra ye Ghana card no. Ye gi some information ni nyina ho. Ti hu here Ghana card. O submit o the Ghana card number, o tua fees, o do address mom and one say you do passport abroad, because information in our Ghana card and so that. And then lastly, building, maybe I can come back after.
Yes,
Eric, because
very well.
I want to take time on
very well. Ma me na se na mintie Eric J. Eric, enti what jimretie unua, any thoughts on the speech me pacho? Yes.
They can match here. Asempa affirmative nyina obobo din no na mepie kakra nti se oso ochina hwa na ansachira yaba ana
yes
okay se MPP fo ye wa ba mu ya na yes se omotena bre
and e bin so free mama afoforo aba
okay me kai se ye ba pa ko 4 time aka some 7 to 8 to 7 months. And now yes, I try kakra no de na no bribu ahe bem so be kaya na no bribu ahe oba ya ankoyi no so no injury time minister enti injury time appointees na President Akufo-Addo so called now the omoba ochina no we welcome them, but there was otia say ni say dodo na call premise and no makocho musika na ma party for na wie, so this is the time. So almost have been back from the government. Yes, we are cash and carry business no more. So the coming back of those people will be a good premise. We go to 7,000, 6,000, 5,000. No. What is a wetimia retaining the seats? Now your money, deputy minister and a ministerial appointment. Actually, President Akufo-Addo support to payment in a course of form. Into a moment or mometica. So we are waiting for them. Now, our premise no more nina and.
I know said there are some constraints so
a
few. Or my Obuasi is Kwekukwate, I think they've done it. They've done it.
Yeah, but Morrison.
Now, Omaye.
I think.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, how many say about me? Boy, be called crazy or something. I just saw it so. This will be about me, boy. It is in Morrison and your friend. So be any so more than. So, but about me, boy. I heard your more. Now, say, I like about me and your mentor. Now the message in a come as a party for no better idea. Obi. Onse Kofi Ekasano na opeso kire se onim de we ndisi 14 ene onim kwan ya faso kasa me nua pani kabila nso aka ne de ko obi amanyo se ma ye political party bia wa ni so ade hu eno ntina ye to aba ewia whether say A na ban renew B na ban renew, the only thing ye wo until say next election beba ne se da bia beba be give say ya yes politicians. It is a Ghana for the Ghana Shamun Semu 7 good years we in trust. Someone share Japadi in our Somaya, a munipa, there was a simune, there was a sisuinam. Na Modin Fianson. Na Ghana for do na kasa. Na se alaji ba umiase or the adefofro biba. No so Baba can vision actually Ghana for. And what's a vision or can a track near ye any track? Obi, as someone you can't or Montiaseno. Kabila time one now cite vision in the first this paragraph we ni na na mayedi. But ade ba ko hia wo wiase ne abrabo mu pae kwan ya nipa fa so jiudi. Obi akonwa we ya otimu betena mu enche pisa. Nipa bebre abako na wonso waba. But the dance no ne say akonwa na oba betena mu no. Nipa na otimu ansa na wo ba no. Wo ba no wani ni hwamo na unni multimedia hwamo. Ye know the issues. Indeed. Ye ba na omodin bon so ani a ya nka na hakra ba di nkomo a wonten wo beti. Enti enye wan say ye do ba as a host. Who host program na na the general manager account ho. Meboa. Programs manager. Thank you very much for correction. Who programs manager na ye de ma wo no. A number of years a wedi wo ha kwan afa so ye onyema. And management na hu say ye de bi kan ho obetimi ayeden. Aye. And indeed you're delivering. And ewura ye ka na asem a wose owo new vision odi abetudwe. Onye nipa foforo Ghana manyosemu. Alhaji Bawumia de na dodo na anim say even na onye politician. Enti na no hini nto ne kwabna je pon mo kasa. De omokra kan ne say time na dodo anko akufu ado de ne ba no. Na onye MPP ni na mo ma ne waiver. Na ye ma ne waiver because of enema ahudo bi a na president Akufo-Addo ni MPP mpanimfo bia ya ewo gidi wa Alhaji Bawumia ho ayeden aka entu no na dodo na anim se yekofa no ba oba ba be da ade nso no bia ebema MPP party na yakono na Ghana force ye hyebre mu asesa. So they coming on board of Alhaji Bawumia no na enye something mere. And don't forget sir, ye Ghana nipaku ahodo a ana nipa pia omosu economist anameboa. But they coming into politics of Ghana through Alhaji Bawumia no. Ono na de politics ni economics be ye adwuma pa. Nti obi say yete ha. Na also ye economics. Nti ukope adekire. Ewo University of Ghana. Okoye no nso eja ye de mawo. Ene ye o HOD. Professor Jampo so political science. Ono de obi anim se ho na wo. Enti wo kono modern bone adanse o CV adanse e fa ho nti na de adwuma no ma. Obi ye de adwuma na hye wonsa emfe nso. Onko da na wie suku a performance ne nye. But ye wie now it is a political science for na ya de peni we huru asikrum. You de political science ene etiso. That is the behavior of Alhaji Bawumia. But a question a rational human being be busa ne say we CV now they call UG a HOD as economic department no mo output ni sen enya Professor Jampo mo success o mo nya political science and I'll thrive on. I am saying so because Alhaji Bawumia from 2016 eba yemfa no hokra papa ne kan sem bebre and obi medical aka kire say so ye Kristo ni na ye so for your kromfo a ojina hokure preach a oni gidie woni mu ana meboa wo ye Kristo ni ye so for won kan okre ana so for ye masem a da obi ware kra na otu nipa no fo no wote okra se we ya oken ono so ye different. That is the caliber of Alhaji Bawumia in Ghana politics. And then someone who do a waka and ye holding the feet on obi minu Kofi kasa o kama na ye fefefe Alhaji Bawumia say or the taxes or the anamuntu papa beto forma ebebo amatime mufo ho ayeden ahenhan. And I think that is a very good news. But the question is, and some ben and Alhaji Bawumia eka fa taxes ho mre bi atwamuko sansem na okeka ye ni nyina no obi Ekosiisen eno aso ne ati
e wa Asempa
FM because obeka kire sa aboso kan spare parts dealer no say oba bemu now the taxes no be flat rate. The first question I was etiman muni busa on say the all can in ne yate but the past na ye free mu kwa the present na o ka ho asem no state in the senate here nye the past current here you mu because obi don't forget say nipa ya o ka flat rate asem o ka taxes asem o pesa ye gini din de no ono an ka kire Ghana fo nyina se ye be move economy from taxation to production based economy. Nyana na do na kan ye free Alhaji Bawumia num straight in 2016 Obi ekasi be movie from taxation. I mean say aban na oba no. Nani enni to achi say ye de to na ebe to ankra na manfo nyuma so. But ye interest ye kwanya ye befa so abie nyuma. Amani penya biaye. Under the leadership of Alhaji Bawumia as the head of economic management team. Obi, and don't forget MPP for born to ano. Nanado mayeti asiyesa adi biye fan economy ho ninti no de Bawumia ba. To the extent so no one ere Samira Bawumia itimi freni kunu so economics whiskit. Of which metias is menya Bawumia video sorry Samira video obetimi abo. Ya odi ni kunu ho adanse wo radio so as a communicator, senior communicator in opposition. Say ni kunu de ba na economy dia ni kunu ni bibibia na economy na ye de share misata ne president Mahama Nsa na omanye ni ye ni kunu bo obeye ni ye. Nti anything about Ghana's economy today before election 2024 no, everything is incumbent upon Alhaji Dr. Bawumia. Nti Obi o share your boss obe move from taxation to production based economy no. You've implemented a lot of taxes, of which our citizen renew complaining say at the hardship aba. Because me kai say more than 5% increment in VAT and buy and so be kaya. The same about so kind for idea on my topic I said be mu ani age no. They are the very people who came out to say this wasn't the promise President Akufo-Addo gave to them. Because in 2016 they contributed, I think it was 200,000, right, to support the campaign. Because now Alhaji Bawumia message in tax. Obi, nipa no baya as a head of economic management team. Na me ne ultimate tax emitua ya me ya okruma pa COVID levy. Me in person. COVID levy. Obi, me colleague bia na otokota like we near akro to come Canada. We jai business no. Obi me ni share one night. Ana oyi bitimi no tax na de amano na me share COVID levy 1% component na daso no bi me see Jesus because that 1% na daso anu otua no e betimi asset ma be 30 bodwa kakra obi abenya bi atena ho aye okay. So such a businessman wo the tax we ato no so be mfie 9 wo di gu na juma. Now that's sorry, I was saying the same businessman. He said, "Me go adwuma ni wi because I went to me and our taxes no. So mama me akwanya na me baby ma tax no kra na went to na me de beche when I started from another page. You think Ghanaians are fools, sabi? Sa taxes na ye hip ye go almost omuntimi ntua no. Who is the cause of it? The same reckless government now you're part of it, you know. So if you've implemented those taxes and then no as I would do fa apalachi ashana no. When now the taxes number into businesses need to mean to Obi. I maybe so a question under the NDC. Who send a GRA for quarter month for shops? Who be that? Into Kofiton to more wabemo, modi GRA for quarter month for shops. No, you are here telling us to say mobile bemo. I was a uncle phoning in a free shop hoko. Now you're online. Can't you do it today? Obi ABM on the same taxes. Na ade ba akokra ya na ye me ya ne se Alhaji Bawumia na minim Kofi speech ne so almost on na twere.
Yeah, at least from the Samuel Wuku catcher in the one na
twere. Yeah. Nti taxes ahodo ne ne ma ahodo anu okeka no nim se dodo na so ura Mahama na mina no oka.
Taxes the here na Mahama eka.
Ebi ti say e-levy.
Okay.
Ye be pass e-levy okroma. Look at how the business community say okroma kasai. Civil society organizations no beer kasa media beer kasa. Aban we catch us so mabo mean fit and they cannot. And they were giving fake promises. E-levy no and the be panacea of this. Ye implement e-levy ayanko IMF. Me aminu ajon kuma okan bi ken oforiata minu akojo upon omu nyino bia kan bi. Obi after implementation of e-levy na Ghana for asitena mu tesan. And the e-levy na ye kan me ade ba ko ma mi sure Alhaji Bawumia pa ne say in September 2020 okotena Peace FM unu esefa kan program so and I know ne kwa me edin komo about this mobile money issues. The vice president was emphatic then, said there's no way MPP aban taxi momo because momo de e here for ni bodwa so for na ye momo. By then no more pay to me in the second coming of Nanado's government in 2020. So he was there in September saying this. And the idea na ba Umia large ni na isi so a no work as asem no samre no. Because now you're part of the economic management team or your head. And then there also a senior advisor or someone for post no waji. Into one the baby always say. Obi you sat aloof after implementation of this policy. Adia ba kwa me de kai omo pa me wo businessman bia once me area ye cashew pa me na me ne cashew business. So yeah no last year after implementation of e-levy the first tranche of money nanka de come anko for motor cashew was 300,000. Obi your frame anopa I think it was around 9 something. And also bank now call ya or transfer no almost like bulk transfer no money into ombechichemu 3 it was 300,000. It was Sunday first 100,000. So that time was the implementation of e-levy na salary tax and the buy no we electronic transfer. Or Sunday 100,000 ni miska yete no yete 1,200. Yes. So 300,000 now Sunday. Ama yakope mebu no munye adwuma na ede ama omo so omfanye cashew business. No omo so kakra ko omo botom no. Alhaji Bawumia then was charging 3,600 from 300,000. So such a businessman no kwaje ebosia 300,000 na. Ote ni 3,600 then. Ye na adwuma gu ne. Ya wontimi ntua ne taxes no. The same person now be ye ne krafadam no wo sia be ka kire ne say. So onye gidie wo wu mu na oto abama wa. Sa taxes na wo na create ya odi egu na adwuma no obema ne fresh page obebie di akọ na oba na book na page be na obi and they talk as if say they are the repository of knowledge. Obi e-levy Alhaji Bawumia say was it Befina no di ne birthday deputy trade minister anana chairman my majority leader papa di ne birthday hwe party mpanimfo akọ ministers ono ana ere Samira Bawumia one papa ikoye obi na eto aga na fo ye se ye ntua na ne tua ye ya no ahysem to mo de koye cake na cake bafu na ho 11 cake wan na hu
mo na minority na de ko ma as a gift
look at them uti my no obi cake I see high table amuti achi
obi I don't say o say chairman sakra be kan
stop the propaganda
oba be
obi they should stop the lies.
It was a gift from the minority.
Onye gift omoboa obi
the minority for the makers
wo dey tie me to aye se yentua ma ye hu cake ema Bawumia ne Samira akotena high table na omuti e ni 11 achi na mu kodi cake ni wie ya wasia aka kire se wunya mampani obedi nti cake na wadi no obefe aba obi potoka sa mu can you eat your cake and have it reply obi oh no just reply can you eat your cake and have it they've eaten the cake now who pay to me be no be ka kire se fie chi ni abofono so what you've ate you are telling the Ghanaian na or no bosome na nke was sending in 1,000 Ghana e man dey to edru nom na eno because of e-levy charges inti e de kwa intimi to abrewa no kra edru na bia wa famu ahwere ne nkwa ne se obe restore the abusua no funu no na obe restore obi ebiem President Mahama Kwaka so betting tax obi twam look at the bash omo de mai e ho no omo start no makoyi ato force in video bi no makoyi we video okay and then look at the deceptive leader yenya ne on principle character me won ade ba kwa ha me wiase ne say okonifa na okobekum enti mra ye ka se ye ba betting tax ye betwam ana mo de ye politics mo sign bash ye no e ye den e kwa pie wa Alhaji Bawumia speech nim so ba obetwa betting tax samo si ono ana twero ana ansem na communicators no mo ba ha mo be keka ne bia na Alhaji fa so ana okotwero ne de obi enti betting tax emebunu na etua sa ato no what they know ni say omo leader bi a ye friend Alhaji Bawumia ya ono ane tenase e ma ye hu say no eto na ye de kwoto bet no so na ebebo ama economy na ye den abumi the same leader sign so asan ba be kan kire omo say ye ma na kwanya na obabie ma betting tax no be ye frio onya na kwafo Alhaji Bawumia sabe odinsuo e na agine nanum na okasa kire Ghana fo obi ebiem ye campaign ye started President Mahama proba oku nyina constitutional review onka ho asem oka so oba obeye nsachira e wo because already ne ye penso ye started aban se san ye ba no enema bi ayesi one time and Alhaji Bawumia say he believes in that And so they so believe in that they are in government. Can't they start the process? What is preventing them? And Alaji, and I say, "OTS of no ukumas no pambo or reply or simple or no economics, but you could see say no common sense." Obi, the fact is, or pambo, Obi,
or pambo,
yes, or then it's awful chief. Obi, the fact is, say, yeah, they are one shame say yes, young man interest if you yan sign and coupon dum ya was here, no. Because me na one ko suku or tifi mpo no nim se ono watiti ne mo remove hwe me no. Eniyema bi wo ho na wo ye ne na wo ka kire no china. Onim se wonye no kwafo. Just imagine the issue of emission tax crop kan wo na yi. Ko fit ye ko kan tax asem se ye nhwe tax so nto aba mamo. Look at you. Emission tax. Me busa o ana nya wo na me busa obi. Wonim se already ye ko filling station near to fuel you tia pollution levy. Where are we?
Yes.
So pollution levy near emission tax me pay difference. Ko fitonto. Tro we am me difference no. Obi, this reckless government, of which economic management team headed by Alhaji Bawumia, Atenase ama implement emission tax. Ye implemented tax now a week after implementation. Uko jina UPS a obe kanchire Ghana for say we yema wa kwenya na oba obetwa tax no. Meaning say a nuisance tax. Because when you were in opposition, you were touting say some of the taxes are near implementing okruma na nuisance taxes. So the question is, you sat in cabinet because Alhaji nanado de ma yeti assess economics ono mfa ho enunti no de wo ba. So why now? ABM His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Koka S Gracia Semukai.
Now yes, for mama.
Yeah, oh man 25 minutes so.
You've done almost the same.
Start say 6
Eric, you've done
8,
almost the
and
same.
And we 6:25.
Men ka say jai, me say yenefa on.
I say I was 25 I was
so. Go ai
say on content so I see from.
Ba me I mentor. Ai Kofi you can say Obi. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Ebo aproba. Okoka S Gracia asem. Oka de we anuanom na omokaza. Ene de oje ye no mfamra. Aden na waji bi ko na ne de enye one na wa ban mu nti o se oba obetwam. Alhaji Bawumia so in the first time de oje, second time obeje. Aden na oka wasem. Obi adwene ni ba akufo timo. Ena emre dane no na niam dane. Enti some awkward mentality na mo de year campaign 2012-2016. Eniam asesa. Eno nti na na bu abomo a certain things mo amuntimi nyi mo ho. Ebiem Alhaji Bawumia say oba obe create industrial zones.
Finally.
Remember industrial zones no. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Canada. So be create. Na ya no ho. Abanya party e ba mu a ye dwene da achi creative buffers. Party e ba mu any creative buffers. Ni creative buffers no obi aba empty no. Na nipa ni be free aban mu wasen agya oka watu ka sheda GD hwan obi. The simple question I was obusa Alhaji Bawumia ni ntimfo ni say sansem na ya na omo keka na all the things say Ghana for na dodo na parking kan and I kan ayentiase on my last before obeba kufiso no obi national service ye nyina ya eti obi ayi bi ana mebo e bia kofi boga de wanye wo ya America obi ena me ne okase national service omo exemption opa uwie school a na unya job opportunity bi oba na school bi na okwa sure let a common national service board with reasons of exemption they consider Meba,
are you saying that the exemption will mean say you will not do it at all,
go and
or
give,
you still come back and do it?
Go and give the reason to them. The board have the powers to consider for exemptions.
Yeah, exemption will not mean say you will not do it at all.
I know. The policy of Alhaji Bawumia no, because and now me know what I say. National service for national service. No matter one screw untia. And is it because and omusika obetua mo didi aye bed in tea and so case oba obetwam.
On case obetwam say enye mandatory.
There be eno na metenti assumption na yetimi di mo obi na eno gina homa den.
No, exemption you still come back and do it.
And I'm say obi I am saying something. What the policy ba? There's a law already national service this year in Juma. And I'm say emra no ema kwan for exemption. And I know TSC aye ka say enkwada na katua ka mu ba bosome miensa ne bosome nan. Ye yentimi ntua moka. Sa kwada na ofri me krom suma hinkura oye ne service e o Madina assembly no. Sa 600 was 700 na e de ma no. Enu bia na ode foka akwa edwuma. Enu bia na ode twa ne electricity bill. De boso me miensa bia ya to no. Enu bia na ode high dine.
But some say na Kofi ka say. Wa anya edwuma obekwa akwa. You can still do the national service.
I am telling you the gospel truth. No kre na woni ma bia won ka bia otinti. Ye ti kromu hai. Dodo na akwa national service we na omunya connection di nya edwuma. Meboa. Be honest to yourself. Yes, that is how it is. Nyecho obetwam ne hamio. Ba me de ne say if you no mo wo mu sisi empo no mo yes service na. Wa ban ne say obetwam da ache no.
Oh, I don't think that's what Kofi said.
Voluntary metiase. Voluntary no. And I make us mo wo mu sisi ano. You are not even paying them. And you are telling us to say
voluntary Tobo me da say. Kofi
na mamizi
time na aka na be mamo akasa so one is what the almost 30 minutes
Obi me see me the 23 the 13 to save you Obi national service abanwe watum 2 times allowances ni atum 2 times ye buy na mekai na bi kra na be announce on the first time mekai pa ye tum first time na bi na be announce
yes
and na yasa tum from 5:59 to 7 something now. Okay. You have twice. Tis obi ni national service for the year. You are talking about buffers. What buffer? Then a chain, then a more of a buffer than see jar oil. I will say ya drunk. What is more of a buffer than that? And some no what can be brave. What can some be brave? Constitutional review as okay. Atamils in the starting. Ubeye Omanpenyi for 4.5 years went me anye. You see, let me tell you something.
Otu anamon ba anamon
Otimi ye.
So kaso went to me.
Otimi ye.
There are constitutional roadblocks.
Okay.
Be a stop here almost from completing.
Otimi ye.
They started.
Are you telling me that for the 4.5 years, the constitutional roadblocks and the blocking of
the time at Supreme Court ruling on the matter I called before Supreme Court, no, that was around 2016. No, to be fair.
To be fair, saying.
Oh, the all can it here.
To be fair, saying.
The all can.
Obi.
No, I agree with you, sir. ABR, the process was not Omanye, but there was a reason why Omanye. That's the point I'm making.
Let's even grant you that. Yeah. For President Mahama, for ne 60 points a policy document, about 99% are all things he could have done when he was a president. What's he adding a large year? Vice president. On your one case your president, also your vice president. Man, you the budget na chichiro man yo. You could read the budget now. You read the budget in the name of who?
The president.
The president. Why you read the budget in your name? No. What the Niama sister about 99%? You could have done it when you were president. You didn't do it, or you didn't do them. Why? And I have it here. We can take time and go through them. As I open it, he talked about emission tax. President Mahama passed the emission tax. It was President Mahama who passed the emission tax. Obi, this is their policy document.
On the pass emission tax.
I say we will run
under him.
I say we will run the leanest.
The tax implementation of the tax and emission implementation they can do.
Meba. You passed it. I don't know the one can say roadblocks in Tina. I know the one implement. I don't know the one can say roadblocks in Tina. One implement. You passed it. And once you what? Please let me talk.
Eric, remember 7 abo. Sorry, right? Kofi me pacho.
Constitutional complete abandoned project. President Mahama ba no intimi onye abandoned project. We run the leanest government. President Mahama ba no intimi running leanest government. Establish a governance advisory council. Oba no intimi establish it. Abolish the payment of ex-gratia and also not constitutional ibi o ha no intimi anya na. I mean, take the 60-point document. Every single one of them, President Mahama had the constitutional powers to do them, and he didn't do them. And now we can say, "Alaji ba umi ade no wanye ne." Ade na Mahama anya no, emra no ye vice president. Ade na Mahama anya no, emra no ye president. You talk about deceptive and unprincipled And now SMBC or TV3 na esere kwa. Unim, they say one more strategy. They use invectives, useless, deceptive, unprincipled. And then asafo je chiro mu nyansa wo TV3. Repeated the invectives no. He repeated them. And now which can be deceptive, unprincipled, liar. 649 now can't answer. Metro time to all. Metro time to all. The point I am making to you is say, yeah, pe obi o deceptive. Then President Mahama is the king. Because onye deceptive and can near man na emrama no ho kwan so otimi ye ono na de ne budget ko parliament when timi anyen wasi ne yensa ma na kwanya no meye. Who is more deceptive than him? Who is more unprincipled than him? Wasi obeye Hope City when timi anye. Wasi obema ye nuanom baba fo ne hwan obema obia solar power when timi anye. I can go on and list a litany of things when timi anye. Should I call him a liar? Should I call him a deceptive person? Should I call him unprincipled? It is a more argument. Make argument. Sebi a person utna ka say yeah vice president argument can and pasumuna all manner of things now can you. The point is Mahmoud Bawumia, His Excellency, is not a president. Wabebwa omanpenyi Ekufuado budget ayedeko parliament no. Enya ne budget. Now we decide which tax are be included and which tax are all included. Nejumano it ends at advisory. Then the point is President Mahama de ya the budget ko ni dinimu empre 9. He couldn't do all the things. Lastly, we say dear president, incoming president, there is nothing new. Obi, what is new about the things I'm reading about cancelling ex gratia, about working with parliament and all stakeholders, and also a policy about working with to strengthen separation of powers, government procurement process. Nina a policy. Government anti-corruption state institutions, unfettered space, the fourth estate of the realm, media. Nina a policy. Way, obi be say way, empo. Wabetna ha say yento swaba. Way empo. Wabetna ha say yento swaba. We have a leader, a leader with a vision, a leader with his own vision. Lastly. President Mahama beye o mampanya bedi echire. Menim se wo sentwere ni a wakwabene e wo adwuma mu betimi akaye ade ba akompa o ye as a vice president. Me metima akaye ba ako. Na ne president so be investigate no. Apart from that, there is not a single thing you can remember about President Mahama, then Vice President Mahama, or as a contribution to the nation state Ghana. Member President, Vice President, the Enchira.
So, what do you care about that? The interventions about. Nasa wo can be. And the Maminti is non-sonable. Intimidasi. It's a running story until we'll come back. We'll come back.
Sir, what the Oye Pentecost said. We have Bible now called Psalm 1017.
I don't know.
Also, no one who practiced deceit shall dwell in my house.
Yeah, and then John Mahama
no one who utters lies.
Nobody is deceitful than him.
No one who practiced deceit shall dwell in my house. No one who utters lies shall continue before my eyes. Election 2024 na yekon. Over in 2016 na o hallmark a deceit ne lies nye Ghana for any so because if you turn to cry ya okazaza ya na yemo because he's very fine gentleman.
So on casem
I say o fact back when you correct o say mo ba ben mo mato national service for akatua 2 times.
Yes, it's true.
There be no correct.
Okay, catch him.
Mo ba no in 2016 yeah Tumudi could do 550
find a tomb
Titi John Mahama
mude ya chichire Ghana kana na John Mahama tinyankopon nsa nifa so ya chichire Ghana na John Mahama tinyankopon nsa nifa so everything you steal it bibia mu wia what is this
you've made your point my Eric Kofi Eric
that be Obi when was national service
the reason why
I'll find the story for you.
Define the story.
Mobile more increasing it twice. And I'm saying no crap because yet to move the call 550 answer na if you in 2016. As of today, it is around 715 point something. Mu increment am once. So stop that. Remember the old ABMOB. Kofi Kasa nyina na obi no a president, obi a vice president, obi no a president. Kofi, that language is not healthy for your campaign.
I didn't hear.
Ghanaians are more reasonable. And yeah, my presume say Ghana for na MPP for na omoye chobo no. Because say Ghana for and kadaba wo me kind.
Okay.
Ni speech no you can say UPS or kan 11 ka was MPs na to na bo. Ono an yes. Because they are the MPs Oma sports minister kwaji blow on afon wo 11 okay. So you sat as a vice president, omo ministers kwaji blow e wo tax eba ho. Then you look at their faces and tell them say me ba metwam. So what is the sense in the fight now no mokone that day?
Eric J.
That is the leader we have today.
Let me read this story
Obia Minia Kofi say onye president no. He was then able to pose 170 questions to then Vice President of President Mahama. Now then, I want post.
Let me read this story.
So, Kofi Alaji Baumi ade no. Opepe mpepa. The only thing I can say mobile celebrate no fache wanyankopon because boni odi Ghana for no.
Let me read this story now. Ghana Web National Service allowance increased from 350 to 559
dates near that main
March 30th 2017. Once I make a say I remember even Nana B making it with Unia Kaba of blessed memory. I remember that story. Government has approved an increment in the allowances of national service personnel taking effect from April 1st, 2017. The allowances were reviewed upward for the current 350 to 579. Anuni.
Government increases in excess allowance.